What's up, guys? So now that PS5s are out in the wild and finally attainable, you picked one up. But now you want a quality RPG to play, but don't want to drop $70 on the newest titles. Or maybe you just don't want to spend that kind of cash. Today, I got 10 PS5 RPGs you can pick up super cheap. And I mean cheap as in under 20 bucks. So there's no particular order here. Just pick and choose which ones pique your interest. Let's go. First up is Lost Judgment. Lost Judgment is the sequel to Detective Yagami's first outing, simply titled Judgment, which if you haven't played, I recommend you play that first. And since Judgment is also only $20, I'll give you that free. Now, the Judgment series follows Detective Takayuki Yagami, who in the first game is the disgraced defense attorney turned detective, fighting to uncover the truth behind a string of brutal murders. In Lost Judgment, he returns to high school undercover in order to solve this undercurrent behind bullying cases, which have led to suicide. These games are RGG Studio flair, but this time, instead of Japanese mafia, you are the detective, sleuthing crimes and investigating the culprits, all while playing a million silly mini-games and beating up thugs with RGG's signature beat-em-up style combat. In Judgment, you can use high-tech gadgets in your investigations, free-form, combo-heavy martial arts combat, and you go nuts in a densely packed open world. Now, if you like martial arts, crime stories, mini games, then Judgment is the series for you. It's fun, and this one, as opposed to Yakuza, actually has English voice acting, so I recommend you give it a try. Outriders is a third-person co-op looter-shooter RPG set in a sci-fi universe where humanity has been forced to leave Earth in search of a new home. Now that they're on Enoch, some people have awakened to new powers. And as is the case when power is involved, evil and corruption come with it. You create your own hero, picking one of 4 classes and embark on a journey across this hostile planet. Using guns and powers, you take down your foes and upgrade your character to stat levels and gear. This outing is similar to games like Destiny or Borderlands, but it's third person as opposed to first, and it is a complete package all in one. People Can Fly, the developers behind this title, have said from the outset that this is not a live service game, and they have held to that, providing DLC, but no microtransactions. It's important to note that you do need an internet connection to play this game, even in single player. I know that's dumb, it's a thing right now, I don't know why, but just be aware of that. Now, this title's had a little bit of mediocre reception depending on who you talk to, and it's certainly more fun if you can play it with a couple of buddies. But there's a lot to like about Outriders. The third person has a decent art style, the powers are cool. It's not, let me warn you, it is not a cover shooter like Gears of War. This is a power shooter. You need to be active and going. But it's fun, it's got a cool combat. If you love sci-fi, you like shooters, this is for you. Hades from Supergiant Games is a third-person isometric action roguelike RPG dungeon crawler thing. It's awesome. In Hades, you play as Zagreus, the son of Hades who is determined to escape the underworld. The gods of Olympus reach down to help you by giving gifts and boons, and as you play through, you'll meet more and more, and you can give them gifts. And that starts where you get an item from them or different relationship things that upgrade, and there's always so much to upgrade in this game. Now, you will fight through each level of the underworld, choosing between permanent upgrades or boons and powers that are more temporary, but will aid the current run more. Hades does a great job of providing a mix of some permanent upgrades and some temporary that change each run. Making choices is an important part of the game where you decide which one you're going for. Because they do this, no run feels wasted. Not only do the upgrades do this, but also because when you die, the story is pushed forwards through conversations with the NPCs around the game. That makes you feel like nothing is wasted. In fact, dying is almost an important part of story progression. Combat itself is fast and frenetic. The characters on the side are interesting. The story is compelling. Weapons and boons give it small changes to every run, making it always feel unique. This game is a must-play for any gaming fan, let alone RPGs. Now, it might feel a little daunting if you're not into roguelikes, which I totally get, because I'm the same way. It's not traditional. But the feeling of the story moving forward, the constant upgrading, the movement of this game is worth it. Give it a shot, you will not be disappointed. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is a full JRPG of the first few sagas in the Dragon Ball universe. Now, full disclosure, I'm not a big Dragon Ball fan. I haven't watched the anime or read the manga, but the great thing about this game is that you don't have to. It takes you through the full story all the way through the Buu saga, so if you are into it, you know what that is. But if not, it takes you through the plot, you get the story, you know what it is. But it is a full RPG. It's not the fighter or arena fighter that a lot of these anime games turn into. It is a full RPG with awesome fights, leveling up, random collectibles, and even destructible environments. If you are a DBZ fan, this is made for you. You get control over your favorite characters, take part in the big iconic fights and the story moments. You just are in control. Now, according to Steam, it says, don't just fight as Z fighters, live like them. Fly, fish, eat, train, and battle your way through the Dragon Ball Z sagas, making friends and building relationships with a massive cast of Dragon Ball characters. So there's other things to do, not just the fighting, not just the story. You get side activities. This is an incredible looking RPG. It's really colorful and vibrant, and it's worth a shot whether you're a fan of the series before or not. Next up is Disco Elysium. Now, this game is a story-driven RPG that focuses on its writing and player choices. In this creative world, you play as a washed-up detective who still struggles to put the bottle down. Every character in this game is fully fleshed out, where dialogue is a massive tree of possibilities, and you get to choose whether you help people out and solve the mysteries surrounding them, or just take up a bribe and help the bad guys. Or maybe just be a drunk bum. That's up to you. The unique skill set and wide array of things to do, coupled with player choice, is what drives this game and makes it one of the highest rated RPGs of the last several years. If having a lot of agency is important to you, or having full control about what you do and what you say and the places you go, this game is for you. It has loads of character customization between clothing and choices. Also, side activities for you to engage in, including karaoke and a bunch of different other games. Disco Elysium provides one of the best tabletop role-playing experiences on console. With so much choice and so much freedom, it is unlike almost any other game out there. While there are certainly CRPGs that have that kind of formula, this is unique, it has a unique setting, and skills that you will only find in this game. If that interests you, check it out. Greedfall is a third-person action RPG from Spider Studio. This game takes place in a unique fantasy colonial time frame with a unique set of kind of evil horror-esque monsters, and it has its own political intrigue. Greedfall manages to carve a place out for itself in the plethora of fantasy RPGs. Also, just as a side note, the sequel has been announced, and so this game makes it cheap and easy access to start the series. Good idea. You create a character, develop them, and choose their skills, customizing their appearance and their abilities. Greedfall has multiple factions and groups that you can either ally with or be enemies with. You can even make allies, betray them, and make them enemies. The game touts engage in a core role-playing experience and forge the destiny of a new world, seeping with magic and filled with riches, lost secrets, and fantastic creatures. With diplomacy, deception, or force, become part of a living, evolving world. Influence its course and shape your own story. Greedfall is a cool, kind of unique game in this fantasy RPG set, and it's a little different than most others like it. You don't see a lot in that kind of colonial aspect, so it has its own avenue. Make sure you give it a shot and see what you think, and if you love it, then you got a sequel to look at. Next up is Disciples Liberation. Now, Disciples Liberation is a dark fantasy strategy RPG utilizing turn-based combat with strategic unit positioning and skill development. Deliver the people of Nevendar and discover that which is hidden underneath. A rich world full of fraction and religion, evil and undead, factions and enemies and friends alike. Assemble a team to gather resources, delve into the politics, and conquer massive monsters with a deep combat system. In Disciples Liberation, you put together an army and develop your base while exploring the dense fantasy world. Every decision has a consequence, and every move matters. Customize your character, picking from one of 4 unique classes. Recruit warriors to your cause and build your place. You can even challenge your friends in a 2-player online skirmishes. This is an awesome strategy RPG for fans of games like Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Simulation. Make sure you give it a try. This game is not easy, it's not for the faint of heart, but if you're willing to dig deep, it offers a unique tactics RPG that you will not be disappointed. Scarlet Nexus is an awesome action combat JRPG set in a sci-fi-like world where beasts called Others are attacking the Earth, and some people pick up their powers. Those who have these powers can join the OSF to fight the Others and protect humanity. You get to choose from the beginning whether you play as Yuito or Kasane. Both have a talent for psychokinesis. Now, these stories intertwine, diverge, and create an intriguing replayability where you can play through all as one and then come back and start with the other. They offer each side of a story where if you play each one, you can see both sides, the different cast of characters that join each character, and different points of view and perspective from each major plot point. Now, in this, the cast of characters is pretty great, and the reward for forging bonds with your people really pays off both in combat and out. The story is pretty good, the characters are interesting, but the combat is the story. It's fast and visceral, with loads of options for how best to take down each enemy. As your bonds with your teammates grow, so do your options in battle, whether to bring them in and give you extra power, to defend for you, or to show up from the side and blast the enemy while you're fighting, or to knock them unconscious so you can do a big move. All of it matters, and all the side stuff adds to the combat. It's a really cool system. This was one of my favorite games released in 2021 and gets a high recommendation from me. Play it. Our second to last, Yakuza Like a Dragon. This is the newest game in the Yakuza franchise where they take the series in a completely different direction. Turn-based. In this entry in the Yakuza universe, you take the role of Ichiban Kasuga, a low-ranking Yakuza grunt who was left for dead by someone he trusted. Pick up a bat and crack some skulls in this JRPG-inspired title. Like other games in the series, you get the wacky commentary and the crazy mini-games. Like, who would have thought that picking up trash would be everyone's favorite pastime? It's a little ridiculous, but it's fun. Also, there's a cool job class system, but the jobs are kind of crazy, ridiculous, modern-day things, like being a bum. Now, in this game, you get to level up, you get new equipment. It has a cool, seamless transition from exploring the world into the turn-based combat. You enjoy the crazy stories, the over-the-top characters, and the mini-games that the Yakuza series is known for. This is a new direction for the series, and it does sound like this is the direction that Yakuza is going forward, and then they'll have side ones with the action combat. So, if that interests you, you like the idea of it, give it a shot. Finally, the last game. Tales of Arise. Tales of Arise is my favorite game on this list. This was my game of the year for 2021, beating out Scarlet Nexus by a slim margin. I love Scarlet Nexus, so that was a big deal. I thought for sure Scarlet Nexus was going to take it. But then Tales of Arise came out in September and stole it from me. This is the refreshing take that the Tales series desperately needed. With a solid action combat system, multiple characters, all with a unique fighting style, tremendous music, and an awesome art style. This game is a must plan for any fan of RPGs. But the most important part of this game is the story. And the story is meaningful and intriguing. The characters are memorable and interesting. While the story does get maybe a little crazy and a little over the top, okay, definitely over the top, the relationships between your character are gripping. It makes you want to continue the story just to see what happens with them. It grabbed me like no game has in a long time. Tales of Arise has a beautiful and fascinating world with multiple biomes, multiple places to explore, full of evil enemies that you want to hunt because they take you off, but also paired with fun side activities like cooking and fishing and those kind of things that bring peace in the chaos of the world, right? Trust me, do yourself a favor and pick this up. Play Tales of Arise as soon as possible. I promise you will thank me later. This game is top notch. It is a great RPG and it's worth every second you can put it. Alright, and that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and hit the like button. It means a lot to me. And if you enjoy this kind of content, I put out gaming news, reviews, and lists like this out every week. So if that interests you, hit the subscribe button. That way you won't miss any uploads. Let me know in the comments what games you think I should have added, or maybe one of these was your favorite. Either way, let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.